Gino? Fellas?
Somebody's going to take this trophy home in about 25 minutes.
I tried.
That's the trophy for the Presque Downs Masters. And the odds early on here, Gino, the 7 opens up as the favorite. Not too big of a surprise. Living the Life was so good last time out at Del Mar. People are jumping on her right now.
Yeah, you have Mike Smith and you have Gary Mandella. This is a horse who ships across the country for a race on synthetic for $400,000 in grade 2 placing. I'm not sure how strong the race that she beat was, the race that she comes out of, but she did it real impressively, and she deserves to be one of the major contenders in this race.
Well, every race that you're going to have contenders, you're also going to have pretenders. Tell us a few horses that you might think are being overbet here that you don't give a chance to.
Well, a horse I thought was pretending yesterday was just pretending to be asleep for a while and then woke up and went straight to the front end with Willie Martinez. So fooled me a little bit with that one. A couple of the horses who I think might be pretenders. Again, this was difficult for me to find pretenders in here because I'm not really that much against either one of them, but I think I tread more lightly on Northern Passion and Cactus Chris. I think Northern Passion, the way that this racetrack has been playing, she's going to have to come from way out of it. She's going to need some racing luck. She's going to need things to fall just her own way, and I'm just not sure that will happen today with the style this track has shown. Cactus Chris is a horse for course, is a horse who has done very well at Presque, but this is a very tough renewal of the Presque Masters, so I think she may be in just a tad too tough. One of the negatives about her, she's a 3-year-old facing older, so if Mike Joyce was here, she might be the local yokel, but I don't know if she's quite good enough to beat some of these really seasoned older veterans in here.
And a tough post as well,
yeah,
there from the outside. All right, let's talk about the contenders then in this race, and eventually we'll get to your top pick. But who are some horses that you're going to definitely use on the win end?
Well, I think some of the horses who come in from California are major players. I'm a California transplant myself, so Madam Cactus to me is a horse who you have to use for Pete Urton. What's interesting about Madam Cactus, she exits a race behind Judy the Beauty, who was 3rd in this race last year, and Judy the Beauty would probably be on anyone's top 2 or 3 lists right now as far as best filly or mare sprinter in the country. And she defeated Renee's Got Zip, who just came back to win the Surf. What I love about Madam Cactus is second off the layoff. If you look at her races, she's second in her debut, breaks the maiden, second off the layoff. She comes off a layoff in the Surf last year. She wins the Lexus Raven Run, second off the layoff. She's a horse who runs well, but runs so much better with the race under her belt. And then Disco Barbie is a contender. We spoke to the trainer of Disco Barbie just a few moments ago. She's 3 for 3 at Presque Downs. She's versatile. She can win, I think, from close, from coming off the pace. And you have some of these shippers that we don't know if they like the track. We know that Disco Barbie likes this racetrack.
All right, we have the pretenders, we have the contenders, and now who's the winner, Gino?
Well, right now I'm going to go to Living the Life with Mike Smith and Gary Mandella. To me, that's the horse to beat. I was just so impressed with that race, and Mike Smith in particular. I don't really handicap jockeys a whole heck of a lot. I handicap the horses more than anything. I watch the races. I'm a trip handicapper. I try to find trouble or something that wasn't there. But you can't ignore Mike Smith's statistics. He's 6th in North America in money earned, and he has anywhere from 2 to 500 less mounts than the 5 guys directly ahead of him. It is insane how well Mike Smith is riding, and when the big money is on the line, he shows up and he wins. He puts his horses in the right spot. It's not a coincidence that Mike Smith is your all-time winningest jockey in the Breeders' Cup. I think he has a 20% clip in the Breeders' Cup. He's just Zenyatta. You think of all of the great rides. He's a Hall of Famer and a 2-time Eclipse Award winner, and I think he's going to give Living the Life every opportunity to win this race today.
And when we did catch up with Mike Smith earlier, and he was talking about the win last time for Living the Life, he said, look, she didn't break like she can. It looks like she's a closer.
And she's geared down. Look, the margin could have been a lot more. He could have won that race by 4 or 5 lengths if he wanted to, but he let up on this horse. He geared down because he's thinking about what's next, and what's next is today for Living the Life.
You look at those running lines, though, at Lingfield prior to coming to the States, and look at the comments. Straight to the lead, Drew Clear. Chase the leader. Early to the lead. This is a horse that always flies out of there, and she didn't do that last time out, and she still won.
Yeah, and I think it was just because Mike Smith does such a great job of getting horses to relax. So we know this horse can come from off the pace. We know she can go to the lead. I think she's somewhere in between today. I think she'll probably be sitting just a few lengths off of it. And she could be any kind. We just don't know. She could be the real deal. She could be a very nice horse. She could be just not this good. You know, that's what we'll find out in about 20 minutes. She's a complete wild card X Factor kind of horse because we know the least about her that we know of any horse in this field because most of her work has been overseas.
Well, you know that she loves synthetic tracks, whether it be in Great Britain, California, or here today in Erie, Pennsylvania. We have our thoughts on this race. Now we're going to go to Rich Perloff. We'll go inside the mind of a horse player in the Masters.
Time to go inside the mind of a horse player. I'm Rich Perloff in Los Angeles, and we're going to focus our attention on our feature race of the day, the Grade 2 $400,000 Presque Isle Downs Masters. There's the field. Got a couple of scratches. Take out the 2, You Can't Catch Me. Take out the 6, Sushi Empire. Still a very good 10-horse field, and now we know. Now we know who's riding the horse on the rail. That was TBA for a long time. Jose Lezcano picks up the mount on my option. Okay, let's take a look at some of the horses in the field for our feature race. And let's start with our morning line favorite. It's Ageless. Now, it is impossible to knock significantly anything that Ageless has done lately. She has been red hot. Take a look at this. What's wrong with that? She's won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of her last 6, and she was flying for third in the one she didn't win. Why do I not like her today? Well, 5 of those runs were on turf. 1 was on a sloppy track that came off the turf. And here's the major point, is that today, in this Grade 2 event, she's going to be trying synthetics for the first time I'm playing against. You know why I was so interested to know who was riding my option? Because that's my pick. I think my option looks great in this spot. Her form is slightly muddied by this last race, where she finishes 7th in the Ontario Matron, a Grade 3 event up there at Woodbine. But that is a 2-turn race. The last time that she went in a long 1-turn race on a synthetic racetrack, that was at Arlington Park in the Grade 3 Chicago Handicap, and look what happened. That's what she is. She is a late-running 1-turn racehorse at this point of her career, and you know what? I'd even give her a pass on this running line right here. This is why I wanted to know who the jockey was. On all these prior occasions, including the big win in the Chicago Handicap, this horse had been well reserved from off the pace. On this occasion, somebody put that horse in the race too quickly. Notice, that was a different rider. Eduardo Perez fits this horse like a glove. Well, Perez apparently not available today. I have to believe that trainer Chris Block is going to tell Jose Lezcano, you keep this horse off the pace. Let's go over to the time form PPs, and you will see how big of a run that race in Arlington Park was for my option. That's a 108 speed figure. That stacks up very well against the top horses in this field. She is 9-2 on the morning line. If she gets the right kind of a setup and the right kind of a patient ride, I think she's going to win today's Presque Isle Downs Masters. That's inside the mind of a horse player.
Love it. Thank you very much, Rich. Yeah, I like the 1 also. My option. Pretty good price.
I agree.
6-1.
If my option runs the race that she ran 2 back, hey, there's Peter right there in the background coming out here from Southern California. Brittany has been working for us at TVG the last few months, so we always hope the best for the connections. If my option runs the race that she ran in the Chicago and everybody else runs their best race, she wins the race. Her top is better than anyone else's top. Now, the problem is, I think she bounced a little bit off that last start, and I agree with Rich. She's better as a 1-turn late sprinter. She got caught up, involved a little bit early on last time out, and was chasing Latia, who went gate to wire. But at 6-1, she is a major, major player here.
They are in the paddock, not quite yet saddled up. We're going to head over to Zia Park, where horses almost time for the $400,000 Presque Isle Downs Masters. And one of the big contenders in here is Disco Barbie. She's a perfect 3 for 3. She's, I guess we could say, the local horse, and we've got her trainer, Del Capuano. This is a mare that has never lost here, and not only is she winning, she's winning by like 5, 6, 7 lengths. She just loves this track.
She sure does. I mean, I don't know how good the horses are that she's beaten, but she's done it the right way, so we'll find out tonight.
Well, they're obviously not as good as the field that she's facing, because this is a really good bunch of horses coming in from all parts of the country. But at least you can say that, you know, you're the proven horse here, and she just seems to have a really nice late kick.
Yeah, she does. And this time, instead of us going to Chicago, everybody's coming to us. So it should be a home field advantage for us today.
We were looking at that race, the Chicago handicap, where she was actually favored over the one My Option, who I mean, she just ran a huge race that day, and then she didn't run it back last time out. But you were supposed to beat her according to the bettors that day. You went off as the favorite,
right?
But it just didn't work out.
No, she didn't run her race that day. There were multiple reasons, but we'll see tonight. Different day, different race.
And for me, this is a horse that we've been hearing all about the last few days. What do you think as far as some of the major contenders coming in? There's some nice horses that come in from California, but you do have a local edge. You've won over this track, so that's got to be a big advantage for you versus some of those shippers.
We think so. So, you know, the horses that are shipping in, obviously, they're very nice horses. They wouldn't be bringing them here if they didn't think they had a good chance. So we'll put them in the gate and break them and see what happens.
Does she have any kind of a style that you expect? Is anything? She seems pretty versatile on paper.
She's very versatile. I kind of expect her to stalk. She's more of a stalker type, but if Antonio decides to press it early, she can do that because she went the first time wire to wire and ran very fast. So,
Dave's a stalker type too, so he knows.
The one question is, do you look down the road at all, or do you just say one race at a time? Let's say she does win this race. What could you see her doing in the next couple of months?
Well, if she were to win this race and impress us, you know, we'll talk it over with Mrs. Manning and see where we want to go with her. She's bred well for the grass. We haven't had her on the grass yet, and we'll just play it by ear. We want to get through tonight first.
Yeah, let's see what she does tonight. The 4-year-old filly, Disco Barbie, looking to remain perfect here at Presque Downs. And we'll find out if she can do that here in 11 minutes. The call to the post. Horses getting ready to come out for a post parade for the signature race of the meeting here at Presque Downs. The Presque Downs Masters Grade 2, which to me should be a Grade 1. These are the best filly mare sprinters in the land, and a purse of $400,000.
It will be in the next few years. We've said it over and over and over again. Since 2009, every horse who has won the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint and every filly or mare who won the Champion Eclipse Sprinter has run in this race, either finishing first or second, Informed Decision, Dubai Majesty, Musical Romance, and then Groupie Doll twice.
There's a look at the huge long shot here. Capella Dancer at 75-1. They're taking a real shot tonight.
Would be the first graded stakes win ever for Jockey. Daniel Vergara, the trainer, won the 1981 Whitney, so it's been quite a while. That was probably the biggest victory ever for trainer Michael Ferraro, 10-time winner, 0 for 3 on the synthetic. All the way up now to the 7, the horse who I like. We've talked a lot about living the life for Gary Mandella, with Mike Smith making the journey. Yeah,
won last time out of Del Mar and was a winner 2 starts back in the $250,000 all-weather filly mare championship at Lingfield. So she's won some big money races on synthetic surfaces, but has never been here at Presque Isle. The 8-horse Madame Cactus, lightly raced. She's a fresh horse, only making her second start of the year.
Yeah, here's Ageless, and I think I'm a little cold on Ageless, as the betting public is. She's in great form. She's won 5 of her last 6. She goes for 4 in a row. First time synthetic, but she's proved herself on turf and on dirt, so synthetic shouldn't be that much of an issue. She sat 4th last time out. She powered home. She defeated next out winning Sky Treasure. In her last 2 starts back at Pimlico, she defeated a ton of nice horses. Quality last came back to win the Turf Amazon handicap at Parks, has won 3 of 4. The 6th place finisher came back to win and has won 3 of 4, 2 stakes at Delaware. The 7th place finisher, Madame Jury, beat the boys next out at Gulfstream Park in a turf stakes. And the 8th place finisher came back to win next time out, won an optional $80,000 claimer at Belmont with a 90 buyer speed figure.
You know, Mike Beer, Timeform US, taking a shot in this race. Going to go to the number 12 horse, Cactus Chris, from that tough post. Play this one to win. He says, then you're getting almost double that morning line. And then some horses to use along with Cactus Chris and the Exactas. The 4, Northern Passion, and the 8, Madam Cactus.
Yeah, she makes sense, Cactus Chris. My concern with her is not only just facing a graded stakes group, but she's got to face older too. If this was a group of 3-year-old fillies, I would give her a big look because she has that local edge. But she's going to have to beat horses like Disco Barbie, who also has the local edge. What about Master of the Blues? Master of the Blues is a 3-time winner at Presque, so she's not the only one in here with Presque form. I think that's why I tread a little bit lightly on her at 23-1.
This is what Mike was saying. One of only 2 3-year-olds in the field. She caught our attention as an improving sort, and we wanted to use her and try to make some money in this race. She has clearly improved since returning this year, posting ascending time form U.S. speed figures for each start on synthetic, culminating with a new top of 97 for that narrow loss to the undefeated Pirates Trove in the Duchess Stakes at Woodbine.
And that's a nice score.
Draw a line through a subsequent turf race. The big test is to work out a trip from that outside post. But she's going to be a price, and that's why Timeform US says, let's do it. Let's take a shot.
Yeah, at 24-1, she would definitely spice up any kind of exotics that were played out there. Horses taking a little bit of money. All of the obvious horses are getting bet. Master of the Blues is taking a little money, down a couple clicks, and Master of the Blues, who showed that good speed at Del Mar last time out and has won here at Presque Isle Downs. This horse has as good a shot as any for Bob Hez Jr. Kent DeSormo, she has speed, she can sit, she defeated a Peter Urton runner, so Peter Urton probably has a good gauge on Master of the Blues because he trains Kinsey Funky Monkey, he trains Madam Cactus, so maybe he knows if Madam Cactus is a little bit better than Kinsey Funky Monkey in the mornings, then maybe he's got this one pegged out.
The 7 Living the Life opened up at 2-1 and is still at that very same price. We were wondering who the favorite might be in this race. I thought maybe Ageless, who was a morning line favorite, wouldn't be favored, but I wasn't sure if Madam Cactus would get bet, Living the Life would get bet, or even the one, My Option, would get bet. I'm liking the 6-1 price on the one.
I agree with you. My Option chased loose on the lead Latia last time out, who won by 6 lengths. So when you look down and see that My Option lost by 8 and Latia won by 6 1/4, it's really not that bad of a defeat. My Option was not far behind Northern Passion, who was defeated 7 1/4 lengths and was 3rd that day. So My Option was a little bit tight in between last time out, and then that monster win 2 back where she was able to split horses and just crush a group, which included Disco Barbie. She has been defeated in the past by Madam Cactus, but that repeat 2 back will make her tough. And the horse she just lost to, Latia, went on to run 4th, only beaten a length and a quarter in the Grade 1 Beverly D, which was a very good race. She defeated, in the Chicago, 3 next out winners. Flower Spell, who won a stakes at Canterbury. She defeated Disco Barbie, who came over here to Presque Isle and won. And she defeated a horse named Cozy Up Lady, who won the Oceanitas at Del Mar, then came back and was 3rd in the John C. Maybe, and has faced some top-notch horses on the grass. So, again, My Option has as good a shot in here as any.
And could it be a deja vu moment for Willie Martinez, who 24 hours ago picked up the mount on the morning line favorite in the Presque Isle Mile and won that race, and now he has very late picked up the mount on the number 4 horse, Northern Passion, for Patrick Husbands, and this horse, Chili, 6-1 morning line, 12-1. Yesterday, his 3-1 morning line mount went off at 10-1. Could he do it again?
Northern Passion outfinished My Option 2 starts back in the Ontario Matron. And she should finally have some pace to run at. 2 back, she was last early, going a mile and a 16th. She had a wide journey chasing loose on the lead winner. She just finished 3rd ahead of a wall of horses. And then last out, she chased Lee Court, who ran, pretty well in that defeat. I don't really love Northern Passion in here. She's got a shot, but I think there are just others that I like better.
We'll go back to the studio and get Nick's thoughts on this race. Nick, this is really a great race. You have horses coming from Southern California, horses coming down from Woodbine, others that have had success here at Presque Isle. Where are you going to go?
Well, I'm with Gino on the 7, Living the Life. I've been real impressed with not only the fact that she delivered in her first start in the United States. She wasn't away all that well in that stateside debut, but the way she did it was ultra impressive. She was geared down at the end. I realize it's a $400,000 purse, but the fact that Mike Smith makes the trip, I think there's definitely a lot of potential there. As far as, the home cooking, the 5, Disco Barbie offers a little bit of value, and I'm the biggest fan of Tony Gallardo. I think he could ride with the best of them. Tried to convince him to come out west during the summer, and that one has been battle-tested. So for me, I'm going to key up the 7. I'm definitely going to use the 5. Master of the Blues at 5-1 is tempting, but you know what? She certainly got good in Southern California. I think she was a cut below the best when she was at Presque. That's just my 2 cents.
Well, the 7 is getting played here for sure. Living the Life hasn't budged higher or lower than those 2-1 odds. Would that be an acceptable win price for you, Sarge?
Yes. I mean, based on how she looks physically on the racetrack, she looks phenomenal. Gary Mandella obviously has her holding good weight since the effort on August 2nd. She shows 3 workouts, namely 2 stamina-induced drills. It's nice to see a 6-furlong workout over at Del Mar. He knew that he'd need a little more oomph to get this 6.5 furlongs here for the Presque Isle Masters. And, I think there are big things ahead for this Irish-bred daughter of footsteps in the sand. She's well-meant, and props to the HNR Nothhaft horse racing contingent. They seem to have a real comer on their hands.
Well, we're going to find out in about 2 minutes now who wins this year's $400,000 Presque Isle Downs Masters. We know year in and year out, this is the race that will pretty much make the morning line favorite in the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Distaff. Or is this year going to be a little, or Filly Mare Sprint, or is this year different because Judy the Beauty skipped this race but still could be favored in the Breeders' Cup?
Well, yeah, I mean, Musical Romance wasn't favored a few years back when she won the race. Dubai Majesty was a player, but she had to also defeat the horse who beat her in here. So it just shows you that this is just a strong, strong quality race in Presque Isle Downs. We were speaking to some of the executives here yesterday. They did a great job when creating the biggest race of the meet to be a Filly and Mare Sprint race like this.
It's different.
It's different. A lot of tracks will have a derby for 3-year-olds, and sometimes what happens is towards the end of the year, you have a lot of horses who got hurt earlier in the year. Sometimes they're not the strongest groups. That has not been the case with this race the last 5 years. It has been the strongest Filly and Mare Sprint race that there is out there, and I really got to give up to the racing secretary and all the executives at Presque Isle. They've done a great job getting some of these horses to ship in, and we have a quality group lining up again today.
Yeah, and the money's pouring in here. They're really taking a lot of play in this year's wide-open affair. We did have those 2 scratches, but it's still a 10-horse field. Okay, you got the 3 at 85-1 and the 9 at basically 100-1. But other than that, a lot of horses are taking win play.
Yeah, and the 9 will probably show a little speed in here. That's significant bling. The problem with her, she's a pace factor, but she was 5 lengths behind Disco Barbie, and Disco Barbie is only one of her worries today. She's also got to deal with the other shippers, so she's in it a little bit tough. We've gone through this field pretty much from top to bottom. Ageless is the horse who I kind of scratched my head a little bit about. She's defeated some really nice runners, but if she takes to the synthetic as she trained on it in the morning, she could be very tough. Again, Dave, this is a great betting race. When these entries came out last week, I had to spend just a couple hours on this race alone, going through all the replays, looking at all the horses, and it was a good few hours because sometimes when you're handicapping, you're looking at a lot of horses who have been defeated. That was not the case in this group. These are some quality animals. Very excited that TVG sent us out here to cover this race.
The meet began back on May the 11th. It winds down on September the 25th, but bar none, this is the race of the meet for Presque Isle Downs, the $400,000 Presque Isle Downs Masters. They're heading into the gate. Your favorite remains to be Living the Life at 2-1. Let's go to Ron Mullis to load in the last couple of horses and give us a call of the Presque Isle Downs Masters.
Living the Life, waiting on Cactus Chris. They are at the post. They're off in the Masters Stakes. Significant bling with some early speed. Cactus Chris, Ageless from the outside. Then is a Disco Barbie, Living the Life, Master the Blues, Capella Dancer, My Option down along the rail, and Northern Passion is the trailer. Up the back stretch, Significant Bling shows it by a length over Ageless. Disco Barbie moving right up the rail. And up to the outside is Cactus Chris, and behind them, Living the Life, Master the Blues, My Option in between horses, and back is Northern Passion and the trailer Capella Dancer. To the far turn they go, and Significant Bling shows away after a quarter in 23 and 2. Ageless up to the outside second. Disco Barbie sneaking right up the rail is next. Cactus Chris just to her outside. Then it's Living the Life as they make their way around the turn. Significant Bling still showing the way over Ageless. Disco Barbie down along the rail. Northern Passion swings wide. Master the Blues. Cactus Chris at the top of the stretch. Significant Bling trying to go gate to wire here. Ageless alongside. Living the Life. Disco Barbie nowhere to go. 7 across the track. Living the Life. Ageless with a run. Living the Life now gets through there. Now here comes Disco Barbie. Living the Life. Ageless. Disco Barbie with the late run. Living the Life wins it. Disco Barbie was second. Looked like Ageless may have held on for third. Photo for fourth.
Living the Life is going to come on late and win under a masterful ride by Mike Smith.
He's living a life just like a movie star. Mike Smith, it doesn't matter where, Erie, Pennsylvania, Del Mar, you name it, he shows up for the big money. And this is a great job by trainer Gary Mandella. This horse has now been 2 for 2 in his barn, came from overseas, won at Del Mar, ships across country. Mike was in some trouble here. He had kind of a wall of horses in between, but he knew he was traveling well. Patience, patience, patience. He waited for the seam, and he got a great run through. Really good effort from Disco Barbie.
Right.
Those are your top 2 betting choices. Disco Barbie took a lot of late money, ends up going off at 5-2, and Living the Life floats up a bit to 5-2.
The 10H is going to hold on for third, so it turns out to be a very formful finish in this year's Presque Downs Masters. 7, 5, 10 for your trifecta. Maybe the 12 at a big price getting in there for fourth. And
now we'll try to get some of these winning connections on in just a few minutes after they take their winner's circle photo, and we'll see what will be next for this horse. Sky's the limit for a horse like this. He's now 2 for 2 in the States, who's one of the top filly and mare sprinters winning this race. She's stamped herself as a player. Now the question is, with the Breeders' Cup being on the dirt, will she be able to transfer that form over? Is that something they're even thinking about? Maybe she's just a straight synthetic horse.
We'll find out. We'll talk to Gary Mandella for sure after he poses for some pictures with Living the Life. But she's going to strut back to the winner's circle under Mike Smith, and Mike's thinking, never rode at this track before? I think I like it here. He's a perfect 1 for 1.
1 for 1. He's going to retire undefeated and untested at Presque. Great job from Mike Smith.
Let's take a break. We'll come back with prices for the Presque Downs Masters. Welcome back, and there is an inquiry in the race. If you saw the 8 Madam Cactus, just stood in the gate and refused to come out. You can see at the bottom of your screen there that the gate did open. The stewards were looking to make sure that she had a fair chance and she wasn't, had her gate shut, or the assistant starter had a hold. And they ended up making her a starter because she did have a fair chance. She just didn't come out of the gate today.
Yeah, they said she just refused to break on her own, which is really disappointing for connections, especially when you ship across country for a big race like this. So we'll hope that everything's okay with Madam Cactus. Didn't look like there was any issue with her. She just didn't want to come out of the starting gate today. And we'll try to touch base with Peter Urton after the next day or two and just see what maybe the game plan will be next for that graded stakes winner. But again, Mike Smith, we've just been talking about Mike Smith the last few days. Sound like a broken record, but it's not a coincidence, Dave. It's not a coincidence that he wins all these races. It's because he's that good. He puts horses in the spots where they should be, and he's just a great guy top to bottom. I like Mike quite a bit because when I was sick a few years ago, Mike was doing a lot, donating to some of the fundraisers, and he was coming out when we would have stuff. So he's a very, very good human being, and he's an even better rider.
It helps when you're always on a good horse like Mike Smith was there with Living the Life. Great ride. We'll be back with prices next.
On that note, let's head on back out to Erie, Pennsylvania, Presque Isle. Dave, Gino, with a special guest.
It is a special guest, winning trainer Gary Mandella. That was heart-pumping victory right there.
We had some anxious moments in that race. Yeah, but she's very brave, she's very talented, and she got the job done for us.
She's something special on the synthetic. What can she race on some other surface, or what's the plan with her now?
They tried her on grass in England a couple times. It didn't work that well. Maybe that was heavier ground. It's worth trying, especially down the hill, the way that layout is at Santa Anita. You saw how handy she was today, being in tight, getting through holes. She trained pretty well on the dirt before her first race at Del Mar. She had 1 breeze and 12 flat. We'll take her to Santa Anita. Let's see how she comes out of this and figure things out a week at a time.
You got a nifty jacket on right here.
It's the Masters.
Can you tell us about it?
You win the Masters, you get a jacket,
so they
apparently.
just gave me this jacket right now.
Put it on me in the winner's circle. Isn't that great?
Wow.
That's a really cool thing. Yeah. They're going to do measurements and send it to me at home, fit and tailored and everything. It's great.
The green jacket for the Golf Masters, the blue jacket for the Presque Downs Masters. Gary, congratulations.
Thanks,
a huge win here for you. We'll see you back in California.
Okay, guys.
Living the life, winning the Presque Downs Masters, and Gary Mandella picking up the winner's share of that with his nice training duties there.
Look at the tallest man in there. He can slam dunk a basketball right now.
He doesn't have his jacket on yet. He's about to get the real one. We'll be back.